How's it going, Laser Bruises? I'll be Sixkilla and welcome back to the letter. We're still Luke and we are still enjoying our playdate with Kylie as much as we can as a miserable adult who, I don't know, I mean, he seems to get along with her quite well actually, to be honest, as much as I don't like him. Let's carry on, shall we? I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie considering how high-strung I felt. He still feels like he's going to be murdered by someone, which is probably true, although it's a ghost or whatever. So it's a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I called. Though it is earlier than agreed upon, he voices no complaint. The bastard even has a look of relief as soon as they left. Or at least I interpreted it as such, from where I've stood by one of the windows, not bothering to step out and greet the man. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I'm a dangerous man after all. Yes, you take great pride in that, don't you, you piece of shit. But to my chagrin, that leaves me with the rest of the day to do nothing. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie left scattered around the parlour, to my immense relief, she remembered to take her doll home with her this time. But the same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first, I snatch my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect the lot. Though they've been stacked neatly on the table before, they must have been blown about when I saw Kylie off. And there are plenty of them. From cats and cakes to colourful rainbows and gardens, the child managed to make a lot during her morning here. There's one more thing I have to fish out of the fireplace where it landed. Expecting to see another one of Kylie's masterpieces, I'm instead greeted with something a bit more concerning. There is me, there is Kylie, the two of us, side by side, and smiling as our stick-figure selves stand around in a nondescript field. It's Takako. That much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the doodle's feet. She's a good drawer, man. But the third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman with her face hidden behind a curtain of black. Takako, the writing under her, supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
The hair on the back of my neck stands on end, and I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath. That isn't mine. It has me turning around, expecting, hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter, sweet and merry laughter ringing from the ballroom. Thinking about it as my cheeks burn and my blood running hot, it's as if I'm being mocked. As I stomp toward the door, I have to stop myself from shouting up a storm. I expect to see some of the help, dallying about, idle from their duties. Perhaps they thought that they could slack off in their duties without the head butler around with them, with my preoccupation with Kylie. Well, they have another thing coming. But again, nothing. Nothing from what I can see with a cursory glance at the very least. I roam around, looking for near impossible hiding places, and still I'm alone. Yet I can still hear the laughter, that accursed laughter, echoing about the room in my head.
Who's there? Show yourselves and show some respect to the master of the house!
Cold uneasiness settles in my stomach when no one answers. I stumble on my own 2 feet, feeling a wave of nausea coming from nowhere. I have to put a hand against the wall to stay upright when the world shifts and pain explodes from behind my eyes. It takes every ounce of my self-control not to heave then and there. The only thing my pride allowed me to do then is close my eyes and attempt to alleviate some of the pain. Vague, unfamiliar images, dare I say memories, not mine, flash in my head, unbidden and unwelcome. Like a strong hammer strike to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. Whatever emotions they hold are muted. I'm nothing but a spectator. Still, its weight feels palpable, though it doesn't take long for these sensations to get into my head. Through my eyes and my ears, it creeps and buzzes in the spaces between. It hurts. She doesn't want this.
You lacked care. You forget your place, and you've indulged yourself far too much in this fantasy of yours.
This is vile, like vomit and sludge brushing against my skin before it covers me until I'm weighed down. Disgusting. Wrong. Stop it.
You've overstepped your boundaries and livery.
Stop it. This is wrong. Please.
May I remind you that you are nothing but a servant, a slave, an unattractive, unchaste harlot who thinks too much of herself.
Please, no more. One after the other, they come at me, an unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity. Each one a show of both joy and suffering for those who have called this mansion their home. Each new scene is like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion in the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, though I know it's not possible. All their anger burns in me. That much is evident, but the pain more so. And above all of it are the whispers, the voices calling, luring until one image emerges in vivid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open, looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything is the same, yet everything isn't. There are people everywhere, laughing and dancing. I should be concerned about them, but my mind finds it easy to dismiss them as they fade in and out from nothingness. Instead, I find my concentration drawn to a man and a woman, though one can only call them a lord and lady, going by their clothes. And oh, just see how happy the couple looks. Though the man's eyes are eerily blank, like he's not there, not all there. His face is familiar though, in fact, they both are, but I can't quite place why. The two make for a pretty picture as they dance in the center of the ballroom. Even the phantom crowd's attention stay on them. It reminds me so much of Hannah and I during the early days of our marriage, the honeymoon years they call it. We were happy then too, all smiles in her sunshine, even with the normal dreary weather. Younger, we had less to worry about, or at least thought that way. I wished we could go on that way, even when all that I did and had to do. Life is a way of catching up. There was work to be done. Although we had to stay the loving, perfect couple in public, I could not afford to look so weak. To appear tied down to someone else, to those who knew who I really am, I had to harden my heart when I have business. But I hadn't always been so easy to just switch that part of me on and off. I should be concerned about their intrusion too. Ask what in the bloody hell they're doing in my house, throwing a party as if they own the place. Ask myself how the fuck I didn't notice that was going on before, when the parlor and the foyer are both only a few doors away. There's a horrid feeling of envy, and though I've long accepted that I'm a jealous person by nature, I've never felt such a strong feeling of envy as I have now. They were happy with each other, these people, but Hannah and I... Envy turned into anger. Anger for something I couldn't have. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. I realize that this might not even be real. It dawns on me that these two are the people from the paintings. The ones all over the mansion. Which makes sense. I don't think I'm imaginative enough to make these things up on my own. This must be a dream. Or a really horrible high. Just then, I can feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation, yet I find difficulty in trying to tear my eyes away from the two dancing. I manage, and I regret looking away. The woman from the garden stands beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run, but something pins me to the spot, and she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamour of their voices fill the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. Their joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding to my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist, threaten to overwhelm me, drown me even as I stand on dry land. Their music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues while I stand here, vulnerable and afraid, but the dance has already ended. And I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Attention is all well and good, until bollocks like this goes down. These phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing, though they cheer for my return, cajole me to dance and join in the merriment. There are eager hands all over, pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Listen. Can you not hear them as they welcome you home? Your kind. Our kind. You're one of us, my love. We are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were overwhelming before, it is nothing compared to how they are now. Their voices are loud, speaking in unison and echoing ever on the spaces in my head. They welcome me back, as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me all these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me. Once, fleetingly, like a new memory having burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air when I come back to myself after.
I'm not. This isn't.
The welcomes turn into screams of my protest, pained and desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it is my duty to stay, telling me that I belong among them, to them. Gentle touches turn near threatening, the warning scratches and the baring of teeth by predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense into the hallucinatory madness, but I don't get the chance as they drown out my voice.
Our Lord, my Prince.
At her words, there is a compulsion to stay, though my heart races in my chest. The fear I should be experiencing refuses to register in my head. Mind and body war with each other, nearly tearing me in two.
Oh, you finally returned to us.
The compulsion to walk into her arms is strong. Whispers in my head tell me to go to her. They say that she is safety. She is home and heart.
We have been waiting for so long.
But repulsed at these thoughts, I wrench away and turn with a small gasp. Without hesitation, I start to make a run for it. I nearly falter when an angry shriek pierces the air, inhumane and monstrous. I don't dare look back, I just run. I didn't care if this is a drug-induced hallucination or not. Just run. Out of the ballroom. And out of the parlor. It's only then that I bother to look back, hoping and praying to the god I scorn that it did not pursue me. I would have run all the way out of the mansion too, if only someone didn't get in my way. I collide with a body much larger than mine and fall back to the ground, head spinning as I look up at the stained glass. Turning my head to the side replaces the colourful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatigue fills every inch of my being then, makes me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger hair looks down at me in bemusement.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
Oh, thank God you're here.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
I probably can.
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision. But no, really. 15 to 1.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers an arm and pulls me up to my feet then. But before I can storm off and pull him to the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder and the other touching the back of my head.
No bruising or bump. That still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright, and this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer.
Bloody fucking for you.
But we don't have time for that.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head. I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize that there are guards starting to filter into the house as we speak, with some already searching the nearby rooms. Armed and uniformed men go about in pairs, making it so that the house is in a flurry of activity. He lets go of me then, with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return. Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own. Though I don't see how I can sleep until that woman is caught.
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in. I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
He says this in a matter-of-fact tone that brook no argument. Not like I'll argue if it means I'm kept safe. The two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it past the master bedroom without any trouble, though, and the two of the security are left outside the door. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. Johann's eye scans the room wildly, a look of dread on his unusually stoic face. And I don't understand for a moment. Looking around the bedroom, it's empty. But then I realize.
Where's Hannah? She came home with you from the hospital, didn't she?
She's supposed to be here. I sent one of the maids to accompany her here, to let her rest.
I feel the colour drain from my face when he raises a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
I'm not staying in here while Hannah stays out there.
One of the guards will find her and bring her here.
And what if they don't? What if that woman gets to her first? What if she already has her?
That's not possible.
You can't promise that.
There's no second thought as I reach under my side of the bed and pull out one of my knives. I have no doubt that the other man can take me on if we're both unarmed. But with this, I can even the field, or at least deter him from escalating the situation and risking hurting either of us.
I'm going out there to look for Hana. And you're either with me or you aren't. I'm not risking Hana, and I'm not leaving her alone.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him that I try to match. One that somehow I'm losing fast to, even with him not saying a word. Yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You are in no proper state to go looking for anyone. If it will make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one person to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
Perhaps it's in his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think that over the years he has grown to care for Hana at least. Much as I loathe to admit this, I trust him with her safety over any seven in this house. So, in acquiescence.
You have 2 hours, Shirokin. I don't think it'll take that long to find one missing woman in this house. 2 hours. Any more than that, and I'm going out there.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he wants to make sure I get in the damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one? There's the reason we'll never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
And the knife?
The knife stays.
Very well.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod he leaves, locks and closes the door behind him. For a moment, I still hear his voice when he gives the guards outside firm instructions, then a hush as soon as he departs and his footsteps fade away. One that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles, lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by the loud boom of thunder. And that wanker strikes so dangerously close that I can feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out not a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts once again. Far heavier than the light drizzle from this morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against the place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to my bed, exhausted, hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. Hana will be safe too. Shrocken will find her when I wake. She'll be here. It doesn't take that long. Once my head hits the pillow, in a matter of minutes, darkness claims me, bringing with it laughter and whispers of a twisted love from a time long ago.
Who are you? Stay away!
Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. I don't like it. You bastard. Is this when they're gonna break into our house? Yet in spite of the unfamiliar voices and unwanted touches from shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb with lead, heavy with lead, no matter my aversion for the words they murmur in my ears or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond fathomable reason, my consciousness refuses to pull from the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into unknown depths. Somehow, even if it might mean that I never open my eyes, I allow them.
You do not belong there, my prince.
Not that I mind getting in a few extra hours, of course. The bed's more than comfortable, as it is. After an exhausting day yesterday. Babysitting Kylie, the stress of finding an intruder in my own home, not to mention those bloody eyeballs they left. I think I deserve a little break, every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so much unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know. As gracious a host or as person I am, my patience has its limits too. You've never shown any semblance of patience whatsoever. Although there is still the little problem with Hano. I haven't forgotten that, of course, but that's why I hired Shrocken. He's competent enough. He won't even last a day at my service if he's any lesser than those halfwits who think that they can deceive me with sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of the little problem with Hana while I Hana.
You do not need her. I am here. We are here. This is where your home is. Where you belong. For the blood we share. Come back to us.
How long has it been since? Johans has never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now, right?
So why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? As it has always been the case. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off. The carpet and the floor closest to it's already been drenched. Hana's going to be so cross once she sees this. Not that it's an immediate problem. If anything, it's this power outage we should be minding first. With the intruder still at large, steering through this darkness might be far more fatal than multiple stab wounds or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now. Yes.
It's the storm, of course. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather it in much more comfortable setting. Already I can hear the creak and groans of this old place as rain beats down against the windows.
Johans, has someone been sent to take the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Silence.
Shroken! Someone! Anyone?
Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating. Oh, that's your cordial mood, is it? Oh, sorry. It looked a lot like your not cordial mood.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
It's really a wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. It's only been a few hours after midnight, if the time on my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I've forgotten to change it again after that last overseas trip a month ago. Though the delay is understandable, if he went looking for Hana as he promised. But bloody hell, my safety's also at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try and adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If that butler isn't going to fix this, I might as well order the security postponed outside to do it. It's probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket, and with footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although in my haste, I pause briefly when a gleam catches my eye. On one of my drawers, underneath the clutter I've yet to organise, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hana has never openly commented on my possession of it, but I know she doesn't approve of it, knowing the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Of course, I've not found much use for it in the 7 years I've been together, otherwise she would already have thrown it out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful right now. Without second thought, I seize it, sending the stuff piled above it on the floor. Huh? Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout problem should be resolved first. Right next to my missing security detail, as it turns out.
Where the fuck did everyone go?
There were two, weren't there? Shrocken had 2 blokes posted to stand guard for the night. I might be panicking for a bit earlier, but I'm quite sure I haven't gotten delusional yet. What, did both of them decide to take a break? Because they think the master's already sound asleep and won't be looking for them?
Damn nitwits.
I know assassinations happen very rarely these days, and even less in peaceful cities like Luxborn, but bollocks! There's been a woman going in and out of this place uninvited, who may or may not want to put a knife in my back. And another peasant managed to break into this house just the other day. And isn't that enough reason to stay on alert? I'm fairly certain Shrocken won't just enlist their help just for this power outage, only to leave me unprotected. We have a difficult friendship, so to speak, but I doubt that man is an opportunist. I'm holding the lives of his family in my hands after all. He knows what I'm capable of doing. He's not stupid enough to do anything that'll endanger them and save only himself. So where then? Only my footsteps echo along a dark passage, and I'm left gripping the handle of my pistol for some sort of comfort. You sound like Ash now. Without proper lighting, and with the storm still raging outside, the stories I've heard about this place seem to have had some truth to it. Some. If I'm reaching and wish to entertain myself for a bit, I'll say might also be ghosts whispering in my ears, calling. Of course, it's just the wind and the trees rustling outside. Nothing good will come from allowing these thoughts to linger when problems are piling up in front of me, one after another. Especially with what greets me once I get to the foyer. Though it is dark, the large windows illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. And from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms, recognize them even. It's all gone crazy when these intruders come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that they're neither life nor criminals are going to play fair. But Lily, the estate agent, she doesn't seem the sort, and Daisy too. What will Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Not to mention Mint. Hannah trusted her. I trusted her to be a professional at the very least, for fuck's sake.
Well, well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Bloody trespassers, what is wrong with these people? Did they really think that I'd be fine with them walking into my home like this? What are they even doing here? If I didn't know any better, I might also be behind Hannah's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
Kill them all. They must have a motive.
Make them pay.
Oh my god, seriously? And it better be a good one.
For all the wrong they've done to us.
Or a bullet to the head is the least of all of them deserve. I don't make a habit of harming women, of course, but this is just crossing the line.
Let's see. A high school teacher, a real estate agent, and an interior designer walk into a mansion.
Mansion? Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time its sound hits close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows and the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. Yeah, sounds like you. Alright, this is pretty much where we ended up in the last one when we were playing Ashton, so... And I think we've got quite a bit to go yet, so... We're gonna see some... resolution? Jesus, we got a lot further than I thought. Actually, it's still not that far, is it? Taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in the setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. Kinda like it, to be honest. Adds something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. You are the villain, stupid. But shouldn't be getting close to them. A noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmur in my head. And it's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. The detective from a few days ago, the one Lee mentioned. Just as he's about to jump down from the furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlour. What happened there? And did he really think it's alright to do that in other people's houses? In another person's home? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me. Fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They're his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter. I know his kind follows some sort of form of moral standard. He won't let an innocent be harmed, especially people he cares about. My finger on the trigger's more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him. But more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's done is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His lives in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face, as soon as his feet hit the floor as he looks up. He's already a prey trapped by his own recklessness.
How pathetic.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for Feathers here, though. But really now, I swear, people need to stop breaking into my house! This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that, I just can't risk it. The thought of having dead bodies here, ones that I'm not even responsible for, they're the ones who've trespassed. It's already quite too much. It'd literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own. Even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping. Just an annoyance, flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying most of the time, like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree it is commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost in the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. No, you're a terrible person. You know that you're a terrible person, come on. Let's not fool ourselves here. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner, in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside. Sort of like I wanted this. But I'm already high-strung, and their presence does not help. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure out how their minds fully work. Take this one for example. Despite the pride brimming in him, how he matches my glare with one of his own, he simply lowers his pistol after a long second, not in surrender. The tense set in his shoulders tells me as much, but the closest he's going to get to lowering his own ego in favor of something I can't quite place. Interesting. Gotta admit, I'm almost disappointed.
As you should be, my lord.
I've expected him to hold his own until one of us shoots each other. I can't say it'll be more exciting that way. A bullet inside any part of my body isn't something I'd like to have on a bad day like today, or any other day for that matter. It'd surely be predictable of him. And I like predictable. They're the kind of people who are easiest to deal with, no matter the situation. With them, there's no second guessing what they do. He shoots, I shoot, one of us dies, the other walks away, nothing complicated. Nothing requiring much brain power, just muscle memory, and who's the better shooter, end of story. Yet here he is, dragging a deep breath in and setting aside the one thing protecting him. Obviously he's a better shooter. You said yourself you had a gun but you had no use of it for 7 years. He's a cop. He probably uses it all the fucking time. He probably opens his beers with it. Could easily shoot him this way. Be done with this whole farce of a conversation. Instead I find myself listening. A concession for a person who in another life would have also become the person I am today, had his circumstances allowed it. I'd like to think he's better than that. I never liked Ashton that much, but I'd like to think he's better than that. Damn shame. We might have gotten along.
Listen, right, I need you to...
But alas.
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Alright, we need to wrap this one up, but we remember where this was, but everything after this is going to be brand new. Because we don't know what happens after this at all, and there's a lot to go still. But I guess we're going to be exploring the mansion as a group now? I don't think he's going to kill everyone. Well, I hope not anyway. Well, I guess we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.